Hi everybody, welcome to week 3. I hope you guys had a good weekend. This week you're going to be looking at Paul's letters, and first of all, just a little bit about St. Paul. St. Paul was not an apostle. He did not know the human Jesus, the historical Jesus, but he did have an encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus. He was on his way to go kind of round up Christians so he could persecute them. He was going to take them to Rome where other people would help him with that. And he was blinded with this bright light that knocked him off his horse. And from behind the light, he heard a voice say, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" And it was a real moment of conversion for Paul. He was originally Saul. That was his Jewish name. He went by Paul after that. That was his Roman name. And he didn't immediately start going out and preaching, but after much discernment and time praying, he did start preaching to people about Jesus. And he went on all these missionary journeys. And so basically that means he went on all these different trips through the Mediterranean Sea, and he would stop in all these little towns and set up churches. And as soon as he felt like there was a natural leader who could lead the church that he had started, then he would move on to the next town. But he kept in touch with those people. And so when he heard about problems or had information to convey to them, he sent them all sorts of letters. And so in the New Testament, there are 21 letters. We believe that 7 of those letters were letters that were written by Paul, actually, and that the rest of them were letters that were either letters that claim Paul as the author, or there's some letters that were written by other people who were leaders at the time. The letters we think Paul actually wrote are what we call the genuine Pauline letters. There's some that we call pseudonymous, meaning that other people use Paul as their fake name. There are some that are pastoral letters, that they're written to pastors of churches. And even though those claim Paul as the author, we don't really think he wrote them. There are some that are called captivity letters, meaning that Paul or whoever wrote them was in prison when they wrote them. There's a few letters that would fall under the category of disputed, meaning that people argue over whether Paul wrote them or not. And again, as we read these letters, this is a reoccurring theme, but we are always going to be asking, is the passage descriptive or prescriptive? If it's prescriptive, then it's what Paul was saying should be the way that it is forever. And those are the real sometimes those are kind of troublesome, especially the ones you're going to look at this chapter, because they're the ones that deal with women and how women should behave. So we don't know if Paul was saying that they should behave a certain way or that they did behave a certain way. We also don't know the context behind the letters. Like, was he addressing a specific problem? Was there a woman in a congregation, say in Corinth, Greece, who was really kind of a loudmouth, and so he was saying women shouldn't talk in church because he was trying to quiet her or some people like her? So again, we don't know the whole context behind the letters. So you will look at these letters and you'll read a lot, and the kind of overriding question here is, was St. Paul sexist? Is he prescribing a church where women are inferior to men? So keep that in mind as you're looking at the passages. You do have a quiz this week. The quiz you have to take by Friday at noon, and it is 20 questions. You have 45 minutes to answer. Of course, you can use your notes in the book. It's really a good idea to look over that stuff before you start the quiz because, again, you have a certain amount of time. And also, I'd pay kind of attention to the title that I give questions because that might narrow down where to look for your answer. I hope you have a good week. There's also a discussion this week, so make sure you participate in that. Any questions that you have, please let me know. Thank you. Bye.